Okay, so I want to take a look at how we can get our artboard set up in Illustrator to begin to create a botanical illustration. So first thing I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with a photograph. So I have a photograph, I've put it onto my desktop, and I need to place it on my artboard. So first thing I did was I went to File, New, and I created an artboard that was 8 inches by 10 inches. Now, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to come to File, Place, and I am going to find the image that I want to use as my base. Now, my image is on my desktop, which can be a mess sometimes, and there it is right there. So I'm going to come on in, I'm going to hit Place, and I can click Place. Now, sometimes this image might feel too big, sometimes it might be too small. So if it's really big, which I've had happen sometimes, you might want to zoom in. And if it's really small, you can zoom out a little bit. And we can always come in and change the size of it, having it selected with the black arrow, grabbing a side, holding down Shift, and moving it back and forth and making it bigger or smaller. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I really want to focus in on this one right here. Now, this is the story too. Once I place this in, I'm going to embed the image. So I'm going to click here, I'm going to hit embed, and there it is. Great. Now I want to use this image as my base, and I'm going to use it, I can draw over it, I can draw beside it. There's a lot of different things that I can do. And sometimes I actually might even want to make it a little bit smaller, just so I can have some white space around it if I wanted to move something over. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to work with my layers and get this all set as a layer. So I'm going to come on in, I'm going to come to Window, Layers, and I have this as the bottom layer. Now, I could double click this, I could turn this into a template if I'd like to, and then work directly from this. Now I don't need to turn it into a template. I could also, if I don't want it to be so faded out, I could say, you know what, I don't want it to be a template, and I could just lock it. Now, when we're working with the pencil tool and we're creating illustrations, we want to be maybe a little bit more cognizant of our layers. So there it is, setting up my artboard. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer, lock the bottom layer because I don't want to put anything on this layer, and I'm going to start working with my pencil tool. Now, I'm going to name this one Shape. Okay, and I'm going to work on the shape layer. Now, this is filled with white. I'm going to turn off the fill. I'm just going to keep a little stroke on. It doesn't really matter what color the stroke is. Right now, it's white, which is fine. And I have this set on a 1 point, which is good. We can leave that like that. Okay, so here it goes. So I'm just going to come on in, and it doesn't need to be perfect. This is the perfect time if you have a bamboo tablet to work with this. I'm going to just come on around and create an overall drawing of the outside. Now I'm working with my mouse right now. Again, a tablet's always great, and it doesn't need to be perfect. And what we're doing is we're tracing this object. There's different ways that we could do this, right? We could also just draw directly. Now, I want to close my shape. Now, I know that my shape is closed because I see this circle. That is my sign that my shape is closed. Now, I want to do a color fill. So I'm going to choose what color I want to use. Now, I am going to put my fill up on top, and I'm going to actually select a color, the overall color from right in the center. So I'm going to grab my eyedropper, and I'm going to select a color. Oh, didn't go in. So why didn't it go in? Because I need to have this selected, and I'm going to put the color in, and there we have it. Now, I'm going to turn the stroke off. I have my first piece drawn. Great. Now, what I can do too is I can come on in here, I can turn off this layer, and I can see what I have. This is my first step. Next thing I want to do is I want to start drawing some of the other information for this shape. So what do I do next? Well, I'm going to come to this layer. I could keep this just as a layer, and I could lock it and turn it off, right? Because this is like the overall shape. So if I wanted to do a bunch of these, I could just do those shapes. And I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to name this Details. okay? And I'm going to turn this one off, and I'm going to start coming in and getting the details. I'm going to zoom it on in. I'm going to show you a detail, and then I'll start breaking things down into other videos. Again, I'm going to grab my pencil tool. My pencil tool is the letter P, and I do just want to turn that off. And I'm going to go in one at a time. I'm going to come on in here. I'm going to get a little bit more of this information. And as I take a closer look, I can see that there are a lot of different colors. So, and what happened right there is I drew it and then it disappeared. Okay, so I should have had it. Sometimes it's easier to have a little stroke on it. So see how I didn't have any stroke turned on, so I don't see it. So now I'm just going to select it. And again, I'm going to grab my eyedropper. I'm going to select a color, and I'm going to go for this red down in there. Okay, I'm going to turn this one on too. Same exact color, right? Which is totally fine. I'm just doing that one more for myself because actually it fills it in a little bit. Now what I want to do is I want to start adding the detail up on top. So I'm going to turn this one off. I'm going to grab my pencil tool again, and I'm going to come on in, oops, and I'm going to get this little shape in here. And again, I want to make sure it's closed. I know it's closed because I see that 0. I'm going to turn this color off. Oops. Okay, again, it didn't turn off. I need to have this selected. I'm going to turn this color off, grab my eyedropper, and voila. Okay, so now I'm going to turn these both on so I can see I have these three right now. Now I definitely even need more info, so I'm turning these ones off. Both these off. Now, you want to always make sure that you don't turn off the layer. When you turn off the layer and you come to work, you're going to get this sign that you can't work there. So make sure that the layer's turned on and that you're just working inside of the sublayer. Okay? In my next video, I'll continue and show you this workflow a little bit more. So take a look at the next video. Thanks so much.